Dusty Old Crow back again on this Friday the 13th. Does it ever feel like one? Doesn't it? Does it feel like one to you? Do you feel like the other shoe's gonna drop any minute and Friday the 13th will earn that urban myth? You know, I'm not talking about Jason Voorhees coming out of the tree line and taking you out. I'm talking about just bad luck, poor coincidence, a terrible incident. I wonder who's suffering from Friday the 13th-ism today. I know somebody is, because I've gotten a heads up that there's a video I should watch, that there's drama I should ignite, that there's a problem that I should put my eyes on, just out of courtesy. And I say to you, no, not today, not on Friday the 13th, not before I get this Dr.Mindbender review done from my tactical perspective. Have to get this done. This is one of my favorite figures, and I haven't been able to motivate myself or arrange the time to give it the attention it was due until today, Friday the 13th, 2024. Well behind when this figure came out, well behind when the re-releases were out there. But I'm here to do my tactical perspective on one of my favorite figures in this line. It's not my absolute favorite, but it has earned a place in my heart for what was brought with it, because it isn't one of those convention exclusive figures. So we're gonna have a look at Dr. Mindbender, but first let's have a look at that box. I mean, yes, and yes. This is absolutely some fantastic front box artwork. Whoever the artist is that was doing these boxes so well, I wish they would allow the signature to be noticed before, because what I never really paid much mind to when I first got this set, and then later did start paying a lot more mind to, was all the nautical and Atlantic themed creations that Mindbender had brought to the forefront in his box. Monstrosities of his own creations, right? It's reflected more on the back of the box, just what he is. He is a bioexperimental. Of course, it's telling the story here of him taking the DNA sequencing to create Serpentor, right? And that's the story. But he's showing images of Cobra Law down here, okay? So, you know, a little nod to things we still have not seen in the line. And then there you've got some Egyptian-based serpentorology, if you would, and just where his research. Not bad, considering Mindbender's a dentist. He got himself a very nice box. It is number 43 in the G.I. Joe Classified line. You'll notice no QR code on this one. Not even on the inset, I believe. Oh, that's never a good sign, but that's okay. We take the rough and bounces when we do this, all right? But no QR code on this one. Number 43 in the line, and it's got that genetic sequence, that DNA Cobra double strand there, you know, the infinite, what do they call that? The something loop with an R. Anyways, so it's got that infinite loop and the DNA sequence mirrored in it. It's infinity and genetics, right? And then of course we have the laboratory layout of how that figure was brought to be, right? So all the kit went in here into the insets. And so one thing I would say is, if you have not acquired one of these deluxe sets yet, if you're new to the line and you want to go back and spend a little bit of money to get one of these, and you do want to preserve the box better than what I've been able to do, because I did buy this used. It wasn't banged up, but it's definitely not in the most pristine shape, but it's definitely a souvenir I wanted to keep. What I would recommend is, when you open these boxes, you'll notice that these insets are their own separate boxes, of course. Just a little bit of tape removal and these insets will slide out. You'll find it very hard to pull things out of here without possibly ripping some of the detailed panels by accident if you were to pull in the wrong measure of strength. Okay, so definitely open up from the bottom, you know, reattach that tape, keep it nice and tight. I do have a little bit of a tear in the corners on mine, which was disturbing, but I don't notice them, right? The back of the box, there's that beautiful image. Again, one last good shot of that, all right? Really take in and appreciate what's being shown in the lower left side here. Like I said, I feel like these two characters will probably be in the lineup at some point, because it's not torpedo and it's not an eel. It is Dr. Mindbender swimming, and it looks like Cobra, some either Cobra Commander swimming as well, or whatnot. But they've got an entire scene there. I don't know if that's a set to be coming out with, but it's definitely an interesting aspect on stealing some of the stuff they needed to be menaces, right? Anyways, without waffling any further, there's your legal gobbledygook, all of that, beautiful box, but we're not here to talk about the box. I'm here to talk about the sadomasochistic mother of a doctor, of a dentist, that is Dr. Mindbender. And I've shown him on my end state shelf on my, if you go into the catalog, a couple videos ago, I took you on the room tour, and I really got into what I was picturing with Mindbender's lab, with the cubes that we saw in the movie A Cabin in the Woods from Joss Whedon. Pardon me while I engage this wasp. So you might see the odd shot up there and things like that, but in my mind, Dr. Mindbender is really the brains behind the entire Cobra operation. I mean, a dentist that is doing genetic manipulation was never meant to be a dentist. Clearly he's an intellect that people will just never understand. A superior mind, probably very neurodiverse indeed, and I can't help but feel, no matter how he was written in Skybound or Marvel or IDW or in the comics, that what we see when we see Dr. Mindbender is the doctor without the borders of a filter of decency. I think that, as you can see in some of the photos in the video, I feel like he's worse than a Kevorkian could ever dream of being. He's the worst of all. And I feel like, you know, when you get recruited into Cobra, or say you go and actually sign on the dotted line to go be Cobra, you can't help but notice you don't ever have to check your organ donor card, and they never really ask who your next of kin is. Maybe your parachute fails. Maybe a tree falls on your head. Maybe Joe lands a lucky shot. Maybe, just maybe, the explosion of the Fang helicopter actually killed you before you could parachute out. Whatever it is, I imagine being a Cobra Trooper is a very dangerous job, and not a lot of perks besides the pay and the action, right? I don't feel like their health care is really good. That's why Gridiron had to make a medical kit, because I don't think Cobra ever actually had a medic. Anyways, I digress. I have to get to the point, which is, this is where Dr. Mindbender really benefits with his research. In all of his kit, you see nothing but necrotized and dead things. Where does he get those things? Well, I'd have to think he's got free access. And if people fail Cobra Commander, as you'll see, maybe he gets even more access than he should. Nonetheless, I find him a device for storytelling, for things like the I Was Once a Man Cobra Commander, and also the figure conversions I bring in from my own imagination, and they sit on the shelf. If they're too wacky, I can just say Mindbender did it. If I wanted Wolverine in my G.I. Joe shelf, maybe Mindbender opened that spell book I talked about in that video. Maybe he opened a Warpole. I don't know. Mindbender did it. If I have a figure that's 1 inch too big for its scale, Mindbender did it. If I have a figure that's falling apart or a zombie, Mindbender did it. If I Mindbender, you get the point. He's just a great excuse to do whatever the hell I want. So guys, without any more lead-in and intro, let's get to this tactical perspective on number 43 of G.I. Joe Classified, the convention exclusive, Dr. Mindbender. So again, number 43, the convention exclusive Dr. Mindbender from G.I. Joe Classified was at one time an excellent orthodontist and a very kind and honest man, tinkering with the electric brainwave stimulation as a means of relieving dental pain. The good doctor made the tragic mistake of experimenting on himself. He underwent a complete personality change and became a hateful, deceitful, and vain. Dr. Mindbender abandoned his practice and devoted all his time to perfecting his digital brain scrambling into a hand-portable weapon system capable of reducing the most strong-willed individual into a cowering wimp. Dr. Mindbender doesn't think he's deluded. He feels he used to be. Now that he has seen the light, or the dark, if you will, he feels it is his personal mission to bring the miracle of thought control to each and every one of you. Ah, what a nice guy. So considerate, taking that whole freedom of choice problem off our plates. Here's a problem I have about his freedom of choice. It's one of the few complaints I have about the actual kit, and I'm going to get it out of the way, out of its place for my head-to-toe inspection. It's his hands. For such a versatile kit, he sure did have a lot of needs to hold things in a variety of ways, yet he only came with the factory direct 2 trigger figure hands that were attached to his buck in the box. No extra set of hands for this guy, so holding that skull is a balancing act that I'm not going to lie. Uses a little bit of blue tack to hold it there. Of course, now that we all have an abundance of different Cobra Commanders, I'm sure a Cobra Commander wouldn't mind if Dr. Mindbender just borrowed a hand from him, or maybe 2, or maybe 7. Yep, definitely needs some hands, because the one that he does come with is not at all useful to him. A little bit, you know, and he's already got a brain in his head. He sure didn't need the extra one. But, you know, it gives me an opportunity to start that head-to-toe inspection in a different way, because he does come with 2 heads. He comes with his brilliantly sculpted monocle-riding mustachioed head with that chrome dome feature of his own. It's not vac sealed, that's all just skin, baby. But he looks just great. Remarkable facial sculpt on him, no problems with that. And then of course he comes with the second head, which is really just a 2-piece skull to house that brain that he didn't need an extra one of, but he got an extra one of. And of course that skull, like I said, is 2-piece. Now I do find that cracked piece, the way it lips into the skull, the crack is more forward than it is to the rear. You have to get it lined up, or else it's kind of pinching and flipping and falling apart. Hence why you see it put off on a shelf when I get this guy back in the background. Now the nice part about that brain is it actually can seat in 2 different things, and you'll see that in here. It's just a simple little pegged in insert that we're dealing with. It pegs into the skull as it does with the other mount for it. And there's no point in asking me, but for some reason, Mindbender always feels the need to smell the brain before he puts it back into that housing. So if you ever wanted to know the answer to what your brain smelt like, Dr. Mindbender would be the guy to tell you. Yes, he's smelling it, guys. No, he's not licking it. It's not an ice cream cone, and he's not eating it. He's not a cannibal. He's just getting a good whiff of what was on this guy's mind. Nothing more, nothing less. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. It's all wrong with him. Though we might as well show at this point that you can bend this figure in a variety of poses. He doesn't have any mid-torso obstruction with the second layers. His webbing-styled shoulder strap suspenders do not encumber him. In fact, it's one of my problems with this figure is, and I knew about it going in with the quality control issues. He was really loose in the torso, and his left leg was really loose on the ball to the point where it came out. I got it all back together, but I have to mention it. As we work our way down, you'll see the bare buck torso in a later shot. I want to talk about this cape. It is actually a really nice soft goods leather, full leather kind of cape. And I found it really not cheap. It's not a cheap piece of kit. It's actually really nice, and I like how I could kind of fold it into things and even tuck it into his hand if I needed to be. I mean, not many characters in this line come with a cape, and if you're gonna come with a cape, it's nice when it's not just flimsy and slippery cloth. There's some grip to this cloth, which I found useful. And anyways, it looks like Mindbender's done smelling the brain, and he's got it back into that little containment unit. And when you get that containment unit, like I said, that brain will post into the hole on the base. But there are 4 little plugins that you have to put into either sides, and you can see he's holding 2 of them now to present that and carry it around. So you'll have to assemble those very small parts together. That's why I say when you take the box and you open her up to get your character out, take these inserts out from the bottom and carefully remove. That's all. So other kit he comes with is his hose and weapons with 2 different types of attachments. And here you have the more intricate Mars Attacks looking laser-like attachment. And no, I can't safely say that I knew what that gun did from the cartoons, because as I've mentioned many times, I haven't read many of the comics, and I didn't grow up being able to see the cartoons besides commercials and the movie. So what Mindbender's unique guns were for, I could only say based off of imagination and what they could do. But he does have a long hose that connects into a very small port in the back. And yeah, you have to move that cape around to manipulate, and that's fine so long as that cape can fold and bend nicely. And as you can see, it does. Not because there's a wire in it, but because it's not cheap fabric. I can hold it in his other hand if I want it out of the way and achieve poses like this where, you know, a little bit of dynamic and maybe a bit of the cape looking, flowing in the wind. If you can't do it with a wire, that's fine, but I mean, some nice fabric helps you do it other ways. So I commend Hasbro on that decision with the cape, and the weapon is not an annoyance. He has another side weapon. It's just a simple pistol sitting on his holster, plus he has his little needle gun, all of which you'll see as we keep going with this. So, all right, let's just skip going head down to toe and tell you how much I like the boots and how much I don't really like purple pants and blah, blah, blah. I love the leather on this thing. Overall, I really like this fig, but I wanted to like them more. The QC issues of loose fitting joints when I pull them out of a brand new sealed box. Like I said, I was aware of those issues. To have his leg fall off was disappointing, but at least it wasn't a permanent issue. He went back on tightly enough. But it is kind of a loose and sloppy little figure, but it doesn't ruin my enjoyment of it. It's just fair warning, guys. Know what you're getting into. This particular high-end figure has some high-end QC issues that I've long since addressed, so I won't go over it. Kit-wise, you cannot complain about the abundance of kit you get here, be it from a nice faux leather cloak to 2 different weapon attachments to that hose and canister to a proper sidearm and a injection like vaccination gun to the skull with a brain or a separate red canister for it to a hand with a separate red canister for it. This figure has a ton of kit and is well worth the dollars spent on it if you can wrap your mind around the idea that he's not going to be the tightest figure that you have to work out with a hairdryer. He is not feel factory direct. He almost feels used when I got him out of the box, although I know that wasn't the case. So just fair warning. So let's move on to that play grade. I'm going to give this thing a solid 5 on play, but I'm going to take 0.5 away for not having optional hands to really work that play. So a 4.5 on play due to those limited hands. I'm not going to ding him for not having any way to carry his stuff, because if you think outside the box, you can carry his stuff. But on tactical grade, I'm going to ding him a little bit. For the mad scientist and dentist, he has a lot of weird kit, and I love it all. But does it all flow well? Can he carry it? Is it tactical sense for him to be carting all this around? No, it's meant for a diorama, so everything reflects well of him being a mad scientist. I gotta give that kit a good mark, like a 4. But you know, he is a doctor, he's a brained asset. You know, the tactical sense would say protect this man with some sort of chest armor. You know, he's a dentist, he's a mad scientist, he's a genetic manipulator, and clearly he's a gym rat, like our good friend G.I. Bro. However, you know, not everything needs to be on full display, does it, Mindbender? You know, get over yourself a little bit, armor up. That's going to ding you on that tack sense. We'll bring you down to a 4. On the je ne sais quoi, it's a hard 5. Whoever came up with the accessories and the ideas behind them and how to put them all together did so in a beautiful sense and manner, and I really do enjoy it. Here's a quick little glimpse of how it all goes together, guys, as I sum this one up today, guys. That's going to be it for this tactical perspective. If you liked my videos, you know what to do. You hit that like, you hit that share, you hit that subscribe, you leave comments, and you invite that discussion. We're here to have a good time. These are your toys, and that's nothing more. I just like to put my little dark spin on it. You know, things like, how would he pack up all of this kit? You know, just for fun. I'm not saying you do this stuff, but yep, that's going to call it. I'm going to end this one with a little bit of music, a little tongue-in-cheek humor, and a little bit of dark army humor that, you know, fair warning, guys, if you're easily offended, maybe don't watch the rest of the video after this part, because, yeah, we're going to have a little play scene. It was Dr. Mindbender's workplace efficiency tips. That'll be it for this one, guys. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.